what to do. Could somebody come and take me away? I've been in the tea without you, and I got it in my head night and day. But we are one step closer. We're all in this together. Put your hand in mine. Yeah, we are one step closer. Can you feel it, baby? It's the end of the line. It looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, moving on. Oh, it looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, stay strong. Oh, it looks like we. It looks like we. Yeah, it looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, stay strong. Oh, it looks like we made it. Wake me from this dream. I need to get in closer to you. I swear you might succeed. Oh baby, I've been waiting for you. Now we are one step closer. We're all in this together. Put your, yeah, we are one step closer. Can you feel it, baby? It's the end of the line. It looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, moving on. Oh, it looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, stay strong. Oh, it looks like we. It looks like we. Yeah, it looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, stay strong. Oh, it looks like we made it. Yeah, it looks like we. It looks like we. Yeah, it looks like we. It looks like we made it. It looks like we. Oh, it looks like we made it.
Good evening and welcome to Be More Super live with myself, Brian, and my co-host Dan. I do apologise about the bit of the delay of getting live because we had a few internet difficulties. Good old modern technology, eh, Dan? But we're back. We'd been gone for a couple of weeks because Dan was selfish and he went to New Zealand for a few weeks with his other half. But what a show, Dan. What a show. We've got a special guest for the third time on the show. I would say he's my favourite guest, phenomenal actor, which we'll introduce in a second. First of all, Dan, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, not so bad. I'm a bit annoyed that on screen right now you're more tan than me, and I've just spent 2.5 weeks on the other side of the hemisphere, and you're browner than me. So cheers for that, Brian. That fake bake's kicking in.
No, that is good, camera settings. That's all I'm saying. But quickly, before we go on to our guest, join us tomorrow night. We've got Stephen Dunlevy live with us at 10 o'clock. He's a stunt coordinator for John Wick 4. He's worked on Mad Max, absolute legend in the stunt community. And then next week at 8 o'clock, next Wednesday live, we've got Jamie King talking about her latest movie, Lights Out, and also Sin City and all the other things that she has done. So tonight we have got a great guest. We've got some giveaways as well from Xbox, which I'm really, really excited about. But let's introduce this guest who's starring in Paramount Plus's Halo, which I've got to say, season 1, I'm a fan. But from all accounts, season 2 blows that out of the water. It's the awesome Joseph Morgan. Joseph, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me again. Cheers. I appreciate it, guys.
Do you know what? It's just great to have you on because, one, I could listen to your voice all day, and you're one of these. You're one of these stars that to say how famous you are and the amount of phenomenal work that you do. you just seem so grounded and down to earth and so well connected with your fans, and everything that you do, I just think is just lovely. And I just think it's
Ah,
fantastic.
that's really kind of you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Um, the thing is, in terms of, like, to go to what you were saying about connected with the fans, I mean, they're the reason why I have a career, really. Like going back to all the way, obviously, I did a ton of work before Vampire Diaries, but on Vampire Diaries was where I really saw the fandom rise up and create these fan-made trailers for the originals. They made it a show before it was ever a show, and then they went back and joined the dots from all my other jobs, and they've just been kind of so supportive ever since. My wife has been a big part of that. Persia's been a big part of that all through lockdown, creating these stage it shows to connect with the fans, to keep everybody, feeling like they're supported and like they're part of something, which they are. We've created this kind of online family and community, really. So I'm, you know, just so grateful to them for all of their support and love. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're watching live now from around the world. I know there's some people watching at 4 a.m. in the morning. Can you imagine getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning? And I was watching before we talk about Halo. I was watching a lovely video of you at a Monopoly event that you went, and you did a
Oh, yeah.
Q&A with your wife. And sadly, I couldn't make the event, but I watched the video and I couldn't stop smiling from ear to ear. I just thought it was just marvelous how you connected with the fans on stage. It was just brilliant to watch. But let's talk about Halo. Halo, which is epic on so many scales, and it's dropping
Yeah.
tomorrow. I think it's midnight tonight, PT, and then 8 a.m. for the UK, which is great. And you're playing the new boss, which I've got
I
to
am.
say, either you've got an amazing agent or you've made a pact with the devil, because you are getting these roles that are dream worthy. I mean, first of all, how do you get all these amazing roles? What's the secret to your success?
Well, I do have an amazing agent and manager who have been absolutely fantastic. My manager, in fact, I've been with for 20 years, so he's seen it. I signed with him when I was in Mexico filming Master and Commander, and I went over to America to meet some agents and managers, and that was my first job. So, we've been in it for the long haul. But I think really, it's I I've been fortunate enough to have a couple of key people believe in me along the way. First of all, Julie Plec, who created,
Mm.
Vampire Diaries with Kevin Williamson, and then, her having faith in me to go out on our own and do the originals. She's been brilliant. And then second of all, David Weiner, who's the showrunner, he created the show Brave New World,
Mm.
which is where I met you, Brian, when I came on the show talking about that. And he is the new showrunner on Halo. So it just worked out really well for me that he responded to my performance on Brave New World. And in fact, we were talking about potential season 2 for that show, and he had all these ideas for my character I was really excited to explore. And then, of course, Peacock didn't pick it up. And then we kind of kept in touch, but I hadn't heard from him for a while. So he was the one who contacted me saying, I've got, there's a role for you in my new show. If you want to get on the phone and talk about it, and I'll send you some scripts. And I saw on his email it was now signed off, David Weiner, showrunner, Halo season 2, and I thought, oh my god. So I think it's that, it's people believing in me, and it's also that I'm a huge fan of genre. I
Mm.
always have
Mhm.
been. I love sci-fi, I love horror, I love fantasy. So I'm just drawn to that, and I think probably that passion comes through, and it's no accident that I find myself in those kind of dream roles, because for me they're like, I always think it's another role that the 10-year-old me would just be so excited about doing.
There's
I mean,
sorry, Brian. My apologies. We've got a
sorry.
bit of a delay on the internet, so there's going to be a lot of that, ladies and gents. So my sincerest apologies in advance. Joseph, welcome to the show. My apologies for not speaking. I was just in awe of your accent, by the way, because Brian's from Nottingham and I'm from Sheffield, and you're making us sound very working class this evening. And this is us putting our posh accent on as well, you know. But
Yeah.
but but going forward, I mean, you know, if Halo drops in the next few hours, and there's an element of a new set of fans, you know, and you know, we all know that the Vampire Diaries fans are quite enigmatic, to give it the diplomatic phrase, right? And in terms of the video game crossovers that we've had over the years, this one is by far and away one of the best ones I've seen. Are you ready for a new set of fans and a new set of enthusiastic cheerleaders, as it were?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm one of those fans, Dan. Like I'm a huge gamer. I love video games. I always have. Ever since my Commodore 64, and then my
Showing
Super
your age.
Nintendo. Yeah, I know. I shouldn't be saying that. But yeah, so absolutely. I'm passionate about gaming, and I was no stranger to Halo. I had flagged it as a show that I wanted to watch when I saw season 1 was coming out, just because I love the world, I love the games. So yeah, I'm ready to be a part of that community, because just like when I joined Vampire Diaries, I also joined Twitter at the same time, which was the big thing back then. And I had a great time just communicating with fans about their favorite horror novels. I'm a huge Stephen King fan, so we talked a lot about that. Favorite movies that are, vampire based or supernatural based. So I could talk games all day, and so to be a part of that community and that fandom is
which I think we're live back. If we are live, please comment in the comments to say that you can see us and hear us. You know what? I've got to say, in the many years I have done this, this is the first time I've ever had an issue, and
Never happened.
what it is just obviously Joseph Morgan's power that's coming all the way from
breaking
Hawaii.
the internet, literally breaking the
Yeah,
internet. You're
sure.
bigger than
That
Kim
it is.
Kardashian now, Joseph.
So let's talk about James Ackerson. Who is James? Because on the trailers, he looks like an awesome character.
Yeah, he, as is stated in the trailer and in the show, he's the new boss in charge of the Spartan program. He takes over from Halsey. He's a military guy. He worked his way up the UNSC, and he's working for, or in control of, the ONI now, or ONI, which is the Office for Naval Intelligence. So he basically has come in with an agenda to shake things up and do things his way. You're going to find out quite quickly he's under a tremendous amount of pressure. There's an imminent threat which he's aware of, which others are not aware of, and so he's acting to counter that threat, and he needs to very quickly bring everybody on board with him, and the way he does that is sometimes quite abrasive. So it's a lot of fun, because he's just trying to sort of manipulate everybody into doing things the way that he knows they have to be done.
I mean, from the actual footage, he looks a bit like a villain of the show, and a lot of people have commented online that is he the new villain? But I'm just thinking, Joseph, any character that you play is very multi-layered. So I've got a feeling that maybe he's not as bad as we think he is. And it's going to be interesting to watch him over the season. So is he a villain, or is he just maybe misunderstood?
I think, he's certainly set up as a villain initially, but no, I don't think he is the villain of the piece at all. Well, in fact, he's not. It's gonna become clear within a few episodes that his reasons for doing what he wants, and what he wants is for the greater good of humanity. He's all about the survival of the species. So he's playing a very, very big game here. And sometimes that means sacrifices. And so at first it may appear that he is being set up as sort of the antagonist of the piece. But really, I think there's a lot more to it than that. And that's going to become apparent as the season goes on.
Joseph, which characters do you prefer playing? Is it the the nice guys, the straight-laced guys, the protagonists? Surely it's more fun to play the bad guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is. I've said it before, Dan. It is more fun to play the antagonist because you come in like, a whirlwind and you shake everything up and you get to kind of cause a lot of the drama. And then it feels like the hero sort of follows you in your wake, picking up the pieces and trying to make everything right. I have uh, played the protagonist, the hero of the piece before, and that can be fun. I try and look for the gray areas. So
Hmm.
certainly when you're playing a hero, for me, I look for those the flaws, the imperfections and the darkness in him, and playing the antagonist, I always try and look for the redeeming qualities and the vulnerabilities and the things that are going to connect the audience with that character, because I want to confuse the audience, certainly when I'm playing a character that might appear as a villain, at least at first look. I want them to feel conflicted and to kind of root for him. I almost see it as a personal challenge, to bring them on board, or at least help them understand where he's coming from.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, this season, as you mentioned earlier on, has got a new showrunner that you worked on Brave New World. Did you have to audition for this role, or was it a case of a cheeky phone call to say, I've got the perfect role for you?
No, it was a cheeky phone call for this job, which is fantastic. I've been doing this for 20 years now, and you know, just recently, Titans as well was a cheeky phone call. So it's started to be, I feel like my audition is the previous 20 years of work that I've done and the fan base that I bring, which is undeniable now. But also there is something very satisfying and rewarding in the idea that the work's starting to be recognized and people are placing their trust in you. So it was an interesting one with Halo because I was working on Titans until 3 days before Halo shot. So I had 3 days off and then I was shooting on Halo. So I couldn't even make the read through of Titans. So nobody really knew what I was going to do when I came on set as Ackerson. So it was a little bit, heart in mouth
Wow.
kind of thing. I thought, I hope they like what I've figured out to do here, because it's sort of too late if not.
I mean, how hard was that to go from Titans straight into the role of Ackerson? Because how would you prepare, you know, you know, for that in that little time, or did you have a bit of time while filming Titans to get your head around it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was really. I had a few months while filming Titans to get my head around it and back into that world. I played through Halo Reach, the campaign, just because any excuse to play a game as part of my research is good. And also to feel like part of that world, and I went in, I dipped into the graphic novels, and I built I did all of my own sort of prep work, uh, which a lot of that is digging through the script and finding the clues that are there and developing this character, building a playlist. I like to do character diaries, so that I normally have a notebook where I accumulate all of the kind of ideas and thoughts and things about the character. So I did all of that before, but yeah, it was difficult just physically. It was quite exhausting. We shot in Budapest for Halo, so flying straight there, and then I did a lot of flying in and out of Budapest. So I decided that Ackerson was an insomniac because I was always jet lagged and tired playing him and sort of powering through that tiredness. So I decided I'm going to utilize that. And he is a guy who would be a workaholic, who would never really have a moment of true rest. So I felt like that's a good element to kind of bring in.
Do you know what,
That's
Joseph?
a.
I
I
was
was going
just
to say that's a wonderful idea to sign away the bags under your eyes. If you've had a really sleepless night and you got these, those big dark circles, you're like insomniac. I'm playing an
Yeah,
insomniac. Method
there you
me.
go. Yeah,
well, do you know
exactly.
what?
Same for the video game playing.
Do you know what?
Yeah, yeah.
I've got a massive confession. So I have never ever played a Halo game.
Oh, wow.
Never. But season one of Halo got me into the Halo world.
Yeah.
And I believe that everyone should be playing Halo out there to support it. So what I want to do is give away to some of the viewers 3 3-month ultimate game passes. that was given to us
Boom.
by Xbox. So,
Can I win?
no, you can't win. Joseph, can you see the comments by any chance on the screen?
Oh, now I can.
Yeah, brilliant.
Oh,
there we
yeah.
go.
So what I'm going to do is I want all the lovely viewers from around the world to write just one word for me, which is Halo, in the actual comments, and Joseph is just randomly going to read out 3 names, and we're going to make a comment of it. So
No, I can't do this. I can't do
Why?
this, Brian. I tell you why, because I know a load of these
Do
people.
you?
I know
Oh.
who they are. I'm connected to these fans so
Have
deeply.
you
Okay.
paid
I've
them? Is
seen
that
them at
what it
events.
is? Is that why our internet's broke?
That's what it is. So I would be
Okay.
targeting people that I know. I'm going to have
Okay.
to. You're going to have to read the names.
That is fine. So I'm just going to bring this up so I can make notes. So randomly, people that so we've got Gemma Melville. She's the first one there. So we're going to make a note of her. Melville. Wonderful. Congratulations. You've got 3 months worth of Halo Ultimate Game Pass. And then the next one is Jamie Frost. I'm just literally randomly reading them out. Jamie,
flying.
well done. You've also got 3 months worth of Ultimate Game Pass courtesy of Xbox. And then we've got Chloe Everly. Chloe Everly, well done, my love. You have got the next one. So what I need you to do, if I read out your name, is just private message us either on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. I know there's so many. There is so
It's
many
another
social
job, innit?
media.
It's another
It
job.
is.
I
It
can't
is.
keep up.
To
Is
be honest,
Threads worth having? I've been looking
No.
at it recently. Like, what do you think? Don't
No.
do it, because once you do it,
No.
you can't go back, can you?
Exactly.
You
You
can't delete it
can't.
again.
Yeah, you can't, and it's not worth it. Literally, I ask my daughters how to use social media. They're 10
Yeah.
and 6, and it's shocking that I've actually hired my girls as my social media managers. But yeah, so private messages, and we'll get those codes off to you immediately. Well done. Joseph, don't
Well
go
done.
anywhere.
Right.
We're just going to do a quick sponsors message, and we're going to get back to some fan questions. So won't be a second. So quickly before the internet goes out, this is the sponsors message. So if you would be interested in screen used props and costume pieces that have actually been used on screen, you never know, they might have.
It's been so long. It's been so long. Do the code.
Not yet. Not
Do
yet.
the code.
Calm yourself down, son. Right. So if you do want to get some props, screen use props or costume pieces from your favorite movies, worn by your favorite actors, who knows? They might have stuff there from Joseph Morgan. So visit propstore.com. Prop Store are the number one place to get your props and costumes. They do amazing auctions. They really do as well. If you want 10% off at the buy now section,
Tell them the code. What's the code,
is
Brian? The code is Brian10.
Brian10 is the code, Brian10. So get over there, check out propstore.com. They've got everything from every movie and TV show, which is screen used, worn and used on screen. But let's get back to Joseph. So here we go. Hello, Joseph.
Joseph, just while we've got you, my apologies. If you were approached by a company that wanted a code from you in order to get a 10% discount, would you go with Joseph 10, or would you come up with something more fun?
I'd probably try and come up with something a bit more cheeky than Joseph 10.
Right.
I didn't
Brian.
come up with it, Dan. I did not come up with it. It wasn't me. So what I wanted to say, because obviously you've played Halo, you've played a lot of games. The biggest thing for this show, I've got to say, speaking to friends that have seen it, that has been into Halo, is the fact of Master Chief takes his helmet off. For me, I think the show is fantastic. Pablo plays an amazing Master Chief, and I think what they've done with it is magical. What's your view as a gamer in the whole thing of Master Chief having his helmet off?
Okay, let's talk about it, shall we? So here's the thing. I think that Halo Season 1 had some really good moments. There were elements about it that I wasn't so keen on.
Mm.
I think that Halo Season 2 is like a reinvention of the show. For me,
Hmm.
it's grittier, sort of darker in its aesthetic, which looks a lot cooler. I just think it's a far superior show in terms of the writing. It's got a more consistent level of action throughout the season rather than huge set pieces and then none for a while. And the dialogue is just better. It's more character driven. We get into more of the politics of the Halo world, and it's certainly much, much, much more faithful to the canon, to the games and to the novels of Halo. It really draws upon that. So if you're a fan of the games and that world, I would urge you to dive into season 2. You don't even need to watch season 1. You can pick up right from season 2, jump into it. And I can say that objectively because I don't have any like bone to. I have no reason to promote season 1, so I'm here to say season 2 is better. If if you're not, if your version of Halo involves Master Chief not taking his helmet off ever, then there's nothing we can do to, to help you here. Like, he does take his helmet off in the show, and that is just a fact. So if you're dead against, like, if you're not going to watch it unless he's got his helmet on all the way through, then it is what it is. Don't watch it. But let me tell you, you'll be missing out because so much of what you loved about the games and the Halo world is in season 2. And I think you'll see just from watching the trailers, hearing the music that they've used, the little details that you can see, that there's someone who really cares about Halo and that world has created this, has come at it from a
Hmm.
fresh angle. And so I'm really proud of it and I'm excited for people to see it. Did I put the helmet on and take a selfie in it? Maybe, but
You wouldn't
I'll
stop
never
me.
tell.
Do you know what? Do you know what? From previous conversations, I know that you collect a few things from different
What have you
projects,
stolen, Joseph?
like
What have you stolen? Tell us what you've
because
robbed from the sets. That's what we're getting at. And he's farting around the poo with the question.
no, I'm just being a bit diplomatic because I know that you had the little walnut from Immortals and you've collected things. Have you collected or liberated anything from Halo?
Yeah, I did. I tell you what I got, and it's just a very little thing, but you'll see it on my costume throughout, except in the first scene I'm in. It's in every scene apart from the first scene I'm in, and it's a little ONI sort of badge that I'm wearing on my suit, and I took that as a little keepsake. So
And
yeah.
and
There you
and
go.
and did they by any chance say, hold on to that and keep it safe because you might need it in the future?
No,
Yeah,
funnily enough, they do have the budget. They've got quite a few of them. They do have the
yeah. There,
budget to.
there was a box of them. They won't miss it. It's all right.
They
It's not like you're stealing like the helmets or the guns or anything. So you're all right. You're okay. Well,
oh,
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
they've got
Uh,
so much cool stuff. They've got these carts on set. They wheel on with the helmets and the guns and the different props. It's just amazing to see. After playing it as a teenager, to be there, walk on the bridge of a Covenant ship, and they recreate it. The green screen element is often outside the windows of the ships, but they build a lot of the sets practical, and it's phenomenal work to see.
and I can't wait to see the new suits because apparently the suits have been sort of changed slightly to be a bit better for the actors. I mean, last season I had Bentley Kalu on the show, and he's got a voice that only whales can hear. Literally,
Yeah,
he's got such a sexy voice. He really has.
he's the
But
nicest
let's
guy as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's do some questions from the fans. So let me just put here, a comment. Got one here from Duda. Joseph Morgan, send a kiss to Brazil. Brazilian fans are here, especially Clara and Duda. So,
We went to Brazil recently, Persia and I, for CCXP the end of last year, to promote Halo and to unveil the teaser. And the Brazilian fans were just so amazing, so passionate and supportive. It was incredible. The energy in that like in the arena was just vibrating. It was unbelievable. My bosses from Halo were there, and they were blown away by the fandom, how supportive the fandom was.
Was
So
it
thank you, Bill.
was it Rio that you were in?
It was Sao Paulo.
I was I was in Rio last year, and the Brazilian people have got so much passion and so much energy about anything they do. I absolutely adored it. You know, even even you could hear people having arguments across the street. Those type of people that will throw plates when you're having a tear up just because you've got home late, a bit drunk. You know, that type of people. I absolutely loved Rio de Janeiro. I absolutely love Brazil. I went to Maracanã, saw everything. So big fan of Brazil. Can you tell I'm trying to garner myself my own Brazilian fan club here?
You just have to
Get me
start
at
posting in capitals. That's what you do. Like
Yeah,
you're
apparently
shouting
so.
when you post. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I saw the video of that at that event, and I've got to say the fans were crazy. You were sat in the middle, and I've got to say the executive producer of the show has got the coolest name ever, which is Kiki Wolfkill, which is
what?
amazing name, amazing.
Yeah, she's great as well. She's a big gamer as well. Like, so we chatting games while we were there. It's great.
Right, so Julia Palouse is a friend of the show. She's an absolute darling. She really is. Or what you would call her a lovely, which I just think is fantastic.
Yeah.
So she's put here, do we get to see Ackerson's backstory? And has he lost anyone he loved in the conflicts? If he did, is this why he's so determined to do whatever is necessary to defeat the Covenant?
She's right on the money, Julia is. You know, she's always she's clued in. She gets it. So yeah, we do get to see some of Ackerson's backstory, and we get to learn a bit more about his personal life in episode 3. And we do see someone potentially. We do see that there's been a tragedy in his life, which I'm in dangerous territory now. We do see that there's been a tragedy in his life, and we do get to witness another sacrifice that he has to make, which will shape the person that he is.
Oh. So let me get some more questions here. There's so many comments on here. It is crazy. I should have really made a rule at the beginning saying.
I'll tell you what. While you're searching, Brian, I've got a question here. It comes up most weeks, Joseph. But this one is I've slightly changed it a little bit. So, for example, who smells better, Colin Farrell or Russell Crowe?
Is that what you really want to know? Is that from you, Dan?
It's from Dan from Sheffield. Could be.
But both different scents, equally,
different sense. I imagine Russell Crowe having a bit more of a spicy musk. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
Spicy, musky scent, and Colin's more like he's rolled in a fresh meadow.
Yeah. I'll just make a note of that. You pick me out of this, Brian.
Yeah. So the next question is from R Wild Things 66. Joseph,
Rhonda,
what was your biggest challenge taking on this role?
My biggest challenge taking on the role, probably the biggest challenge I felt was my first day, coming onto that set, like that baptism of fire. I had like a 3-page monologue. You'll see in the show tomorrow, my first scene as Ackerson is the first scene that I shot, and it's briefing all of the Spartans. So they were all there, and I had this massive monologue to do, and I hadn't done the read through, and no one knew what I was going to do, and I just had to come on, and they'd sent out a memo going, no sides on set, everyone make sure you know your lines. So I thought, look, well, I've just got to go in and do this. And the coolest thing was they were all so supportive and so lovely. And I remember doing it the first time, doing the speech, and then looking at them after I finished and seeing Bentley like this. Just so the biggest, most frightening human being, so nice and gentle and kind and giving.
It's lovely. It really is.
I love the idea of that scene. Is you introducing your character, introducing yourself to the team. But in some respects, it's you also introducing yourself to the cast. It's like so even the faces that they're pulling of them going, "Who the hell is this guy?" That was actually real, I guess, right?
Yeah, there was definitely a bit of that, and I thought I've got to, I've got to do something good, because also I'm coming into a show where they've already done season 1, and there's a
Yeah.
new showrunner. He's brought on this actor from his other show, and so there's
His
a
old
bit of
pal.
like, well, who's this guy? And who you brought on this? What's he going to do, kind of thing. So I thought I have to start it off right.
Talking about obviously when you did the Monopoly event, you did a little trivia quiz on your Q&A, and you
I
asked
did.
everyone what was the first line that Klaus said on the show. So what I want to know is, what's your first line that you deliver as Ackerson? Can you say that, or will you be getting your NDA being thrown at your forehead?
I think I can say it. I'm trying to remember it now, though. I think it's something like, oh, don't mind me, carry on. I think it's that he busts into the middle of this briefing while the Spartans are all being briefed by the admiral, and he just walks in, is introduced, and sits down, and he's just quiet. And I thought, I'm just going to see how long I can hold this moment. So, because my line is the next line, so I know no one's going to speak. So I just sat there and looked around at everyone and waited for them, looking at me, thinking, and the actor in them is thinking, is he going to say the line? Does he know what the line is? And I thought, I'll see how long I can hold that moment, because it's kind of fun, it's a little power play. And then he goes, oh, don't mind me, carry on. I think it's that. Watch it be something else now when we watch it tomorrow.
That's it. We're going to watch it tomorrow and test to see if Joseph was correct. We've got another question here from
Yeah.
Lauren. Lauren's asked, what part of playing this character pushed you outside your comfort zone?
The dance routine in episode 3. Probably a lot of people aren't expected to see, to be fair.
They're not expecting that. Do you know, I once did a show that was called Mansfield Park, the Jane Austen thing, and I had a hornpipe dance as a sailor, right? I played a sailor. I played Billy Piper's brother, who was a sailor, and he does a hornpipe dance. I had to learn it. And my castmates on Vampire Diaries and Originals took great pleasure in Googling it, bringing it up and showing it to me every time I got a bit testy. So I'm not eager to relive that moment. Lauren, what part of it pushed me out of my comfort zone? I think he's very contained, James Ackerson. He's very kind of contained. I love theatricality. Like, one of my favorite actors is Jack Nicholson, because he goes for it. Like, he really sends it out there. And so what was challenging to me was trying to lay off the intensity a little bit in some of it, and just really contain it all and keep that power bubbling below the surface,
I mean, obviously the cast in this show is also phenomenal, and I'm sure you share amazing scenes with the amazing cast. But is there, a cast member that you really enjoyed, acting opposite, that you left thinking, I really enjoyed that?
Oh yeah, there is. Well, I guess I can say now. I wasn't sure if it was. I wasn't sure if it was like. If it was known by the public that he's in the show, but they've posted a photo. So there's an actor called Bill Patterson, who's a UK actor, and I've seen him in so much, in Fleabag and in the House of Dragon, just more recently. But he's a bit of a national treasure, And I had I had a couple of scenes with him, but one in particular, and it was my last scene I shot before Christmas, before the break. And he was just so wonderful to work with, just because he's so good. He's so good as an actor, but also because he's one of those actors who's done everything. So we just sat in the little green room and had a cup of tea in between the scenes, and it was everything I wanted it to be that day, because he just told me stories about, like, him doing Waiting for Godot with Brian Cox, in the West End or whatever. Just things, and little, like, actor stories of back in the day and stuff. It was just brilliant. So that to me was like such a incredible experience. I was so looking forward to it before, and then it really was like exactly what I wanted it to be. And he's just so talented. You'll see my scenes with him in episode 3, and I didn't have to do anything, just had to listen to him and react because he's so good. He's sort of giving you all of it, you know.
And why is the character of Ackerson English? Was that originally in the script, or was that something that you wanted to change?
No, it's something that we came up with because for a couple of reasons. You know, David, I did a Zoom with David and with the director of the first 2 episodes, Debs Patterson. Did a Zoom with them from Toronto, where I was doing Titans, you know, before we did the show, just to talk about Ackerson, you know, a little bit. Probably they were nervous, like, what is he going to do with the role? Like, we should probably at least find out. So we talked about accent, and David said to me, you know, the studio has asked if you can do an American accent. And I said, yeah, you can. He can, but do we want him to?
Mm.
And they said, oh, I don't know. And because Ackerson, you know, I think is supposed to be American in canon, but I felt like he's such a manipulator. And he's sort of a slightly different with each person because he's trying to get something different from them and take a different tack. And so I felt like the English accent kind of lends itself to that because of its melody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's something in the melody, the sing-song melody, that can be, it can lull people, and it can kind of, there's more expression in it rather than flat American. And so I felt like that would be really a good idea.
Yeah, with the I feel like the last 5 or 6 years, it's there's this accent that seems to have crept out, and I believe in acting circles it's called the mid-Atlantic accent, where it's not quite
Right.
American and it's not quite English. You know, have you found yourself having to Americanize up some of the terms you're saying, or some of the way you might put an infraction on the end of some words in order to try and fit that mold that people tend to like nowadays?
Like, not consciously. I think I do in life because I live in
Mhm.
America. So I'm tired of not being understood when I say the rubbish or the bin or the pavement
The
or
cue.
my trainers. Yeah, you know, so I'm just trying to kind of get by in everyday life. But I think yeah, I don't know. It is definitely, it's been around for a while though, that mid-Atlantic. And I think nobody knows what it is. It just means like slightly American English. But it just sounds to me like you're kind of doing an American accent badly and your English accent is creeping in, you know, that's what
Yeah,
mid-Atlantic sounds
there
like.
were rumors of it that it's come from Juilliard. Apparently that's what they
Right.
are teaching there now. You know, which is essentially
Really?
it's a British twang, but saying American words like trash.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that is me then. That's what I do. You know, I say trash and I say the trunk of the car and things because otherwise you're just repeating yourself
Oh,
too much.
We're losing you,
you've changed, Joseph.
Yeah, we're losing you.
I
We're
know.
losing
I
you.
know. I'm
Do you know what I mean?
sorry.
But then again, kids now are talking like that because of all these American videos that they're watching. You know, my girls ask for candy instead of sweets and stuff like that.
Right.
It's hilarious. It really, really is. So I wanted to ask, you know, are you planning to come over to the UK very, very soon for any conventions? Because I know that, you know, people are asking all the time. Is there any in the works?
Yeah, we are in talks for some stuff, but nothing's confirmed yet in the UK. We spent a fair bit of time over there last year. So, you know, I'm always open to it, and it's about figuring out the schedule, of course. Like we're the next couple of weeks will be very telling because we'll see, I think, how Halo does and whether we get a season 3, and if we do, then when it's going to be, and that will sort of inform the rest of my life, really. So kind of waiting on that news, really, you know.
And tomorrow, you're doing a watch party, apparently, on your
Yeah, so
Instagram.
we're just figuring this out now. So with Persia and I, so I think we might have to do 2 because there's no time that's good for everyone. You know, our fan base is so global. It's so amazing. There's no time that works for everyone. So we might have to do one earlier in the day for us, for all of UK and Europe, and later. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to go live on our Instagram. We're going to talk about it and count it down. And then we're going to press play on the show, because it's not on at a certain time, as you know, it just drops. And then we will save that live as a post, and we'll chat in the post. And that'll be the thing. That'll be how we'll do it via Instagram. There's been a lot of thought gone into it, and a lot of sort of trying to figure out how do we do this on Instagram then. So I think that is the way.
Let's hope your internet's better than Brian's.
Listen,
oh God, I hope.
Listen, my internet is normally very, very good. I'll have you know. And then I just wanted to ask, because some people have been mentioning a certain book, which is Empire of the Vampire, and you know, and obviously he's got the new book as well. That's Empire of the Damned. He's actually coming to Nottingham. The author, is it Jay Christoph?
Yeah, Jay Christoph. Yeah, I saw that on his tour. You know, I'm actually doing a thing with him next week. We're going to do a chat on, and it's going to be recorded, like a visual and audio thing, just talking about the books, because I'm such a fan of those books. And I got to read the second book, Empire of the Damned. I just messaged him saying, can I have an advance copy? Shamelessly, can I have an advance copy to read, please? And he sent me one. So yeah.
But his books actually sold out in the UK, which I think is fantastic. Which is just a testament to the quality of the book. I haven't read it, but everyone's saying it's fantastic. You need to read it, and it's just my luck that when I decide to go and read it, it's sold out.
It is fantastic. It's a brilliant story. You know, it's sort of got all of these elements I love. It's you know, the first book especially as well, which sets up the whole world. It's like vampires in the world of, you know, it's like The Last of Us with vampires in the world of Jon Snow, the Night's Watch from Game of Thrones. That's the only way I can kind of describe it all. So it's swords and horse riding and all of that kind of slightly medieval feel, and but it's vampiric, and it's in the snow, and it's sort of like a fantasy, dark horror fantasy with so much hope and so much kind of love in it. It's really, really terrific book. I love it. I think it's great.
And any more plans on any more audiobooks in the future? Because obviously you did The Boy and the Beast and Bound by Blood. So
I
any
did,
news
yeah.
on any more to come?
I was thinking about doing a third one to sort of close it off, you know, like to make it a trilogy, but not as yet. You know, I have a production company I started with my wife called Morgan White Productions, and we have a couple of projects. We have, you know, 2 feature films, and we have also a potential TV series, coincidentally based on a best-selling novel that we're developing. And so that's what I'm looking to do first and foremost. But what we really need to do is find out what's happening with Halo, because then we can start to set our schedule for the rest of the year. But yeah, that's what I really am keen to move forward with in my career, is more of the producing and getting in on the creative process at an earlier stage, you know.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. But Joseph, thank you so much for coming onto the show. You know what? Halo drops tomorrow. I cannot wait. Again, it's one of the best shows out at the moment. And from the trailers, because I'm in the UK, we don't get advanced screenings of it, which is so annoying. But then again, I enjoy it like I would the rest of the fans. But thank you so much for coming on to the show, telling us about the show and what you're up to. I mean, what are you doing next? What are you working on next? Is it putting your feet up and enjoying the wave of Halo?
It's you know, what I'm doing is I've got the Halo stuff, and then I'm going to San Francisco on the 17th for a convention. I'm doing a fan convention there, and then we've got some exciting meetings to do with those projects in development in Los Angeles. And then I've got about a month off, and then I'm going to go to New York, and I'm going to do big publicity for Halo for the finale. So I'm going to do a whole kind of round of publicity, magazine
Forget
photo shoot.
about it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. But Joseph, do not go anywhere. We're going to end this live stream. Thank you for everyone watching. Please hit subscribe on this YouTube channel to support everything that we do. But thank you so much. Keep safe and stay super, Joseph.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, guys.